Hey everyone, it's Stasha, and we're back with the message. Welcome to March of 2015. I hope you're all doing well. Well, so far, this year has been very interesting. I do feel that this year is going to be a lot more positive than 2014, and a lot more positive than the years before that as well. However, I'm noticing this theme around me, and perhaps it's easier for me to notice living in a country, or an island, I should say, like Ireland. It's very secluded, and the town I live in it's smaller than small, I'll put it to you that way. Our town doesn't even have a shop. It takes me 15 minutes to get to the nearest store just to get gas or supplies, food, things of this nature. So when people are in a more secluded type of living environment, they're very in their own routines, and everyone knows everyone, and they have their day and their schedules and things of this nature. So when someone like myself comes to a place like this, it's not very common. So I tend to either need to blend in completely or stand out like a sore thumb. But I find myself editing myself at times. And I know that many of you can relate to this because I have people reaching out to me about similar feelings like this all the time. And I believe I was listening to Colette Baron Reed speaking the other day, and she was mentioning something about what part of your life do you edit yourself. And if you followed this channel for a very long time, you will know that I have, I won't say edited myself, but I've reinvented myself, or this channel. I won't say I reinvented myself, but I reinvented this channel many ways, and this was always to kind of suit the people, because for me, what truly makes me happy is humanity. One of the only things that I have a true love and a true belief and hope in is humanity, where most people would probably say the opposite. It's as old as the saying, you can only rely on death and taxes. What I'm trying to say is, I find myself holding back all the time to suit others' needs. And I believe that this is something that we're all suffering from right now. And in the year of 2015, we have come to a vantage point, or a climax even, where when you start to, quote-unquote, get your shit together and start looking at yourself and what things you might need to change about yourself, similar to like the AA program where people do a personal inventory and they write down their character defects, and they also write down a list of people that they want to apologize and make amends to and things like this. I think that when you really go down those and open those drawers, and you look deep within yourself, and you confront those aspects of yourself that really aren't working for you, the parts of yourself that just aren't working anymore, and you're aware of them, and you do not ignore them anymore, and you take action and you change them. This is what I spoke about in the intro video for this channel, or for the message, and that is that long story short, we really need to keep it real right now. So if you are in a place where you are looking at yourself and you're saying, okay, the way I'm gonna, I really need to change my life, so to speak. So I spoke about people talking about how they change their reality and how we create our own reality. So the way that we create our reality is not using all this mental stuff and these mind things. It is actions, 100% actions. This is how you will truly change the course and direction of your life. So I started taking some actions in my life, and those actions involved a lot of, removing a lot of things from my life that just weren't for my highest good. They weren't reflecting 100% who Stasha was. So as I started to do that, I realized that there was so many things, even just activities, clothing I wore, places I went to, music I listened to, people I hung around with, places I went to. They all started to, well, many of them started to drop away one by one. And this is what a lot of people will call an awakening. When you start to realize you've been kind of asleep. A lot of people like to call it being a sheep. I don't like that term per se, because I love animals and I love sheep. And I don't think that should be any type of insult to someone. But staying asleep when you know you shouldn't be, that's when you're asleep. When you're aware of the things that you need to change about yourself and you don't change them, you don't take actions to change yourself, you are not keeping it real. So the reality that you create will reflect that. Now there's another aspect of this. When you're not keeping it real. And I've developed somehow this type of radar beam that I emit, or like a sphere that I put around myself when I go out into the world, so to speak. When I'm home, I'm in a very safe little home, little cottage. I'm surrounded by my plants and my trees and my animals and everything that I love, and my children and my family. But when I go out to, let's say, go to the grocery store, or go to the gas station, very normal everyday things, I put this bubble around myself. And this bubble is kind of like a no bullshit bubble. It's a no bullshit bubble of protection. And what I mean by that is it's a real two-way street, actually. It means that when I am out with this shield on, I cannot put out any bullshit, which means I gotta 100% be myself and not edit myself. And also, anyone that comes into contact of my sphere also cannot pull any bullshit. And I see the effects of this instantly. If people around me in my sphere, when I'm aware of this sphere, now mind you have to kind of visualize this and intend it to be there. You have to be aware of it. And I don't know if everybody knows what I'm talking about right now, but for those of you that can control your energy field, you know what I'm saying. And for those of you that want to know what I'm talking about, study your energy field. Study the field, your auric field around your body. So, we're magnetic beings. We are vibrational, magnetic plasma beings that are emitting all types of energy out into the universe. So when we become aware of that energy, that's not just within our physical bodies when we're working out and we're using our bodies. It's more about becoming aware of the energy that surrounds you. When someone walks in a room and you're just like, oh, the energy just changed. That person gives me a bad vibe. Well, that's an energy. So maybe you can't see it, or you can't feel it, or you don't know how to manipulate it yet, but you're aware that it's there. It's that little gut feeling that something's just off about somebody. So when I put this sphere on, I kind of just visualize it and ask it to be so. And I notice the effects instantly. And I would really like for some of you to go out and try this no bullshit bubble. So when I put this bubble on, I see one of two things usually happen with people. People that are really in themselves, that really have worked on their shit and are awakened in some way, shape, or form, or are just in touch with who they are and know themselves, and are not running around spinning their wheels in their mind all day. They're living in their heart, they're living in their soul. Those people will instantly make direct eye contact with me. And in that moment, nothing needs to be said. It's just a smile that occurs, a smile and a knowing. It's almost telepathic. So when I see those people, I'm like, wow, that feels good, because I'm very isolated out here in Ireland. For those of you that don't know my situation, I am from California, and my two children, their father is from Ireland, and we've been divorced for many, many, many years. At least 14 or 15 years now, and I have been remarried to a lovely man from Norway for many years now, or for a few years now anyway. And so although my husband is Norwegian and my children are Irish and I am American, we somehow have to balance my immigration status over these three countries. And anyone it's from another country and has lived somewhere else knows exactly what I'm talking about. There are so many loopholes and so much red tape and different guidelines placed upon things. You know, some countries you can be married to someone from that country and you automatically become a citizen. Other countries, you can only live in another foreign country if you have a child from a foreign country. So between here and there and everywhere, there's all these different rules. So I'm actually being tossed kind of all over the place right now, and it's only really me that's suffering from this. My husband is very safe in Norway and can be there as long as he needs to be forever. My children are very safe in Ireland or America. They were actually born in America, as was I. But yet we can both live in Ireland. All of us can live in Ireland because their father is a native of Ireland. So Ireland are very sympathetic to my situation and welcome me with open arms, even though I'm still not married to an Irish man. But it's that my children are half Irish. They're open, welcome me with open arms. But Norway was a totally different story. My husband and I were married in Norway. My grandfather, my mother, my great-grandfather, my great-great-grandfather all came not only from Norway, but from the same exact town where my husband is from and where my husband and I got married. And a couple years ago now, it's so crazy, it's been a couple years already. But they will not allow me to live there. So I'm kind of pulled. I really don't have a home per se right now. And all of my friends and family are home in California. My entire family live together, and we're all very close. We're a very loving, affectionate family, and we always hug goodbye and hello and kisses and hugs. And, I'm a very family-oriented person. So for me to be separated from my husband or my children or my family and or any of those people, it is equally as painful. There's really no easy way for me to cope way out here isolated. And this is why I really need to be comfortable in my environment when there are the times that I'm on my own, which happens about, half the month. And so when I'm way out here and I have on my sphere and I see people in my grasp that have the same type of soul makeup that I do, it is such a comforting feeling. There is nothing that can replace the connection that you have with another human being when it is real. And I'm just talking about a little old farmer guy, maybe 85 years of age. That's one example that I came into contact with today. Had his fisherman welly boots on and everything. That man in that moment, he was probably living in his truth. For him, he was a fisherman. That was his life. He probably has a family and a wife, and they know his schedule, and sometimes he's away, and they probably miss each other during that time, but that's his life. He was living in his purpose, that man that I saw in the grocery store today. I also had the bullshit bubble on a different side of the grocery store, and there were some people that suddenly started to react in the other way that I see people react when I have this bullshit bubble on. And that is people are trying so hard to not be themselves, but when they get into my sphere, they cannot hold that facade anymore. So several things can happen at this point. They can get violent, they can get embarrassed, they can get emotional, they can get rude. It's insane. I have seen a number of different reactions when it comes to the bullshit bubble. And so I find it very sad that it's more than like 80% of the people that I come into contact with on a daily basis. And I'm talking, I don't even know how many people live in this town. A couple hundred, maybe, if that. I don't even think that. My actual town on my street is actually considered my town, and there's only 10 houses on this street. So that's how small I'm talking about. So if 80% of the people I'm seeing in a small town like this, whereas a real simple place, we're in the country of Ireland in County Kilkenny. This is, pretty wholesome. And I'm noticing that people still are walking all around us, not being themselves. And it's so sad to me. And this is why I have created the message. This is why I have transformed it, and I've tweaked it, and have changed it for all of you in so many different ways. But I've noticed that a lot of people have disconnected from me since I have done this as well. And that's been equally as hard for me. It's very hard for me to detach from all of you, because I was very connected to people on this channel for a very long time. And I always did personal services and personal videos and personal healings and all of these things that really expended a lot of my energy. And the more successful I got, the busier I got, and the more drained I got. So I had to keep pulling back little by little, until eventually I kind of looked around and there was no one left. I was just me by myself. Of course, I had my family, which was the only real protection bubble I needed. But beyond that, I do identify myself with the work that I do to help this planet and to help humanity specifically. I take full responsibility for how humanity turns out at the end of this ball game. And that's just my own cross to bear for my own reasons. And many of you know that you have a similar cross to bear as well. And that's why you're here, and that's why you're still listening to this. And somewhere deep within you, you probably know that I have a big part of this as well. And this is why, no matter how many different ways I try to detach, I have to stay connected to helping humanity in whatever way that I can. So I'm going to continue to put out little videos like this, or little audios rather, like this, that I will make available for free on this channel and also on our website, which is themessagesonline.com. If you haven't been there, please go check it out. You can sign up. It's a free little community. It'll eventually grow and grow and grow and grow. But again, I'm just a not even mom and pop shop at this point. It's just mom shop right now. Actually, Papa is helping a lot from afar. He gives me a lot of really great ideas and keeps me very focused on the message. But it is really, it's something that I want to put out myself and control myself, because this is my life's work, and the message for me has to reflect me 100%. So it may take a while, and these videos may be sporadic, and these messages may be few and far between at times, but that's just the way it's got to be. And so that was the way that I had to start doing what was best for me. I can't stop helping the people. I can't stop teaching you guys as much as I feel has been hidden from you. I believe is way more important than what you already know. And I think as time unravels, that will become more apparent. I released the first educational audio series, which I will be doing on a regular basis. This message is more of like, these free messages are more like the podcast format that I was referring to before. It's just doing live podcasts and interviewing people and getting guests and doing all these things is a lot for me. It's a lot right now. But the main thing always was about the message I have to share. So I will continue to put these audios out as often as I can for free. But the educational audio series classes are a lot of work for me. They're very informative. It's all based on research. I do ebook, PDF books that come along with each class to reference all the material that you can follow along as I'm teaching the class in an audio format just like this, so that it's not too much to retain. You can take your time with it. You keep the MP3, I send it to you, you own it. And it's basically €5 for every class that I put out like that. And it will have like an hour-long class of audio, and it'll come with a PDF ebook that you can follow along, take notes, keep for future reference. And I'll continue to keep putting these out based on different topics that I feel are very important. I will also start creating these videos based on topics that all of you send my way. When you go to themessagesonline.com, there is a contact page. If you go to that page, there's a form you can fill out, and you can ask us anything. And we will be happy to release more and more of these based on the topics that you guys have. There are many things that people have interest in that my husband knows a lot more about than I do, and vice versa. So I know many of you have really enjoyed when he does pop into the channel. It's usually on the healing ceremonies. It's not as much on these type of videos. But when he does speak, he has a lot of very important things to say as well. So do not hesitate to contact him as well to spread some knowledge your way from a different perspective, from a male perspective, from a Norwegian male perspective. You know, it's a different culture that he comes from, a different culture that I come from California. It's like night and day, literally. And I think that it's very important that we show a balance here on this planet with both sides to every story and looking at things from multiple angles, because, you know, I could tell a message and it could go right over someone's head and be totally misunderstood, and someone else could tell the same story and someone else will totally get it. So it's all about the delivery and how this is absorbed to all of you. So your feedback is so important here. I cannot stress that enough. You know, please contact me through that page, and I will really give you guys what you want to hear. Within reason, of course. If I feel it's redundant, I'm not going to go there. But if I feel that it's important, we are going there, and I will go hard. So every class will have like a 1-hour intro class that'll be very informative. And then there will be a second class that will be a follow-up class to each original class, depending on what the topic is. Y'all, I have so many topics. We just started with Kaaba, the black cube in Mecca, but the next topic will be the black stone, and then it's going to be about the black goo, that reprogrammable black goo matter that you keep seeing everywhere, and then it's going to go on from there. I'm going to talk about Revelations, the end of the world, oh my god, the rapture theory. I could go on about that one for days. Let's talk about the two gods in the Bible. Yes, there are definitely two. Doesn't matter which Bible you open up. There's two different gods they are talking about for sure. As well as two different Jesuses that they're talking about for sure. Nazareth, what's that about? I'm just saying, there's a lot of stuff going on that has a lot to do with what way more than people ever think. And this isn't just religious dogma I am spitting at any of you, because if you know me well, you know I am not a religious person at all. I study religion to understand it, expose it, crack it open, fix it, break it. Something's got to change. But I am not a religious person of any denomination. I believe that everything and everyone has a story to tell, and a place and a purpose on this planet. And I don't think it's so separate that we need to make things separate and have sects and different, you know, synagogues and whatever. When did it have to get so complicated? When did the person that, or the being that created this planet, ever say everything had to be put into boxes? No. Lesser gods did that. Lower gods did that. Ones that wanted to manipulate and control for their own benefit. Those are the ones that did that. And all of those ones are the ones that have everything to do with the black cube, the black goo, the black stone, anything black. Don't even get me started on Queen Elizabeth. I mean, we have, and I'm not even talking about these, you know, real conspiracy left field stuff like David Icke and any of those people, Alex Jones, David Icke, any of those fools. They may have been reputable at one point, but they are all gone, yo. They are gone. Everyone is gone. Another topic I will be covering will definitely be cloning. How many people have you seen that look completely different now than they did a year ago? The most famous case of this has to be Fall McCartney. And yes, I said Fall, F-A-U-L, McCartney. Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy and a lot of bullshit out there about that story. But I can tell you 100% without a doubt, Paul McCartney, that we know and see, that's working with Kanye West all of a sudden all over the radio again, is not Paul McCartney. He has not been Paul McCartney since 1966. And it's documented proof up the yin yang. Just go do your own research. But we will cover that. So that's the most earliest one that I'm aware of that I think would be controversial to pop culture, per se. But what's going on recently, I just want to ask you guys, have any of you seen Dave Chappelle lately? Literally, if you haven't, please pause this video and look it up right now. Look at Dave Chappelle in 2012 and look at Dave Chappelle today. That is not the same guy. I'm sorry. What about Slim Shady? Hello, when will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Because he is also gone, yo. He is gone. If anybody saw that movie, The Interview, the really controversial one everyone was talking about, where they killed Kim Jong-un, in the beginning of that movie, Slim Shady says that he's a homosexual. Now, of course, I have nothing against homosexuals. It's amazing. But Slim Shady, Slim Shady, at the beginning of that movie, says, I am a homosexual, and he repeats it over and over again and makes all these other very derogatory remarks about being gay. And it's almost like he's almost using offensive terms, so where if he really was a homosexual, he wouldn't talk in that way to describe himself. I was instantly just like jaw on the floor, like, who is this? There is literally, Slim Shady would never in a million years say, I am a homosexual. Not for any movie, not for any amount of money. I don't give a fuck if it's the biggest movie on the planet. The real Slim Shady would never do that. That is not him, yo. I saw a video that he did the other day, and he's literally just basically Max Headroom admitting he's like a robot clone of himself. I believe there's black goo programmable matter slipping through that video into Slim Shady. It's just like, where does it end? I don't even know who else to use as a good example, but the Dave Chappelle one is killing me right now. That's my most recent, like, what the fuck is going on in the universe? And I'm sorry to suddenly be cursing with all of you, but I just have to, again, I can't edit myself anymore. I have to really just keep this real. But there is a lot of people out there that are not who they used to be. There's a lot of people out there that are just doing mad shit. And it's all because there is so many lies going on. And there are so many other beings that are not human beings that look exactly like human beings walking all around us. So that brings me back to that bullshit bubble that I talked about in the end. And see, this is how it really is all connected and how it all starts to come full circle. Is that I believe that most of that 80% that are allergic to my bullshit bubble are not human. I really believe that. I believe that true humans, in their core, Adam and Eve's children, I'm talking to you. You are all good in your core. There's been a lot of visitors that really aren't visitors at all. They were probably here long before humans were. But they've blended in with the rest of us and made us, try to make it look like they were a part of us. And suddenly we have all this technology and things that we really shouldn't have right now that just pop up out of nowhere. And all these quote-unquote light workers and all of these esoteric societies and all of these new age movement people that are like just a little bit too pushy. And they all have some type of hidden agenda hidden beneath all that love and light. This is such like Luciferian Satanism 101. It goes back to like Helena Blavatsky and the Theosophical Society. And I'm not saying any of this stuff is evil, but people just don't truly know the roots of where everything is coming from. Everything. And I mean from music to books to television, especially television. Everything is manipulated by these outside beings that really, really, really hate humans. So you might look at the sample class, give a listen to the sample class that's on this YouTube channel for the Kaaba audio series. And if you weren't sure about what the Kaaba or the Black Cube was about, or if it was pertinent to you, please just listen to a few minutes of that sample class. And I guarantee you will you will understand why this is important. And each one will be connected to the other. All of these are going to be connected to each other. And that's the thing. Nothing is separate here. Everything is connected. So we just got to connect those dots, put them back together, and so we can all be one again. So, I hope this was helpful for some of you, or many of you out there. And I will be back with more classes. I'm going to continue on the Black Cube, and I'm going to talk a lot about the conspiracy theory aspects of things in the Kaaba Educational Audio Series Class 102. And then we will be coming up next with the Black Stone Series 101. The Black Stone is that stone, they say, Lucifer stone, the one that fell from heaven. Is it a meteorite? We don't know, but it is one of the four corners of the Kaaba building in Mecca. So it automatically leads to the next class. So we're going to talk about that stone. There's a lot of people that have a piece of this stone as well. Queen Elizabeth, Barack Obama, there's a few other people. I think even the Blarney stone here in Ireland may be a similar stone. We're going to cover a lot of that stuff and what that's really about. If there's a meteor or several of them on this planet that can affect human beings' energetic field, perhaps even their bullshit bubbles, we need to be aware of that thing, y'all, and we need to fix it. We really have to be aware of what is going on because we have the control here. This goes back to Saturn as well, and the hexagon on Saturn that I've talked about before. You know, what is a hexagon but a 3D cube from an aerial perspective? It's so deep. Everything is going to connect one dot at a time, and I can't stress to you enough that some of it may seem long and a little boring, but that's only going to be the intros, the first parts of each class. The second parts will always cover the more conspiracy theory based stuff and a little more interesting, a little more exciting things, but I have to start you guys with the facts because this shit is so unbelievable. They say truth is stranger than fiction. It is. So that's why I have to start with the truth first, like the facts, whatever we have that's proven on paper and reference, we will start with. And then we can get a little fun and fancy off of that, because it's the fun and fancy stuff that they really can't prove. And that's going to be our job. That is our job here at The Message, really, is to expose the truths. So I love you guys ever so much. It was nice speaking with you on this day. And I really hope that all of you are living in your truths. And I want to hear if some of you try on your bullshit bubbles and see how they work. And I have to say, when people go ballistic, I would say the best thing to do if they go ballistic in your bullshit bubble is look them in the eyes. You will know when you look into someone's eyes who they truly are. And for those of you that do miss looking into my eyes, I am aware that I haven't done many videos where I've just been myself and connected with all of you and just checked in. And I will try to do that on this channel from time to time, but I cannot stress to you enough how important the message is over anything else. But sometimes I know it's important for all of you that are my friends and family and far away and haven't seen me in a long time that I check in and just say hello, show you my garden and things like that. I will always continue to keep as much of Stasha in all of these messages as possible, because I can only give it from my perspective, y'all. I can tell you the facts, but I can only give it from my perspective. I can't give it from anyone else's, and that's really all that I can offer at this time. And I really do hope that that is enough. So I love you all ever so much. Go to themessagesonline.com, and I will definitely be back very, very, very soon with the next class.